Hello and welcome to my piñata forest. I believe that's where I am. That's where I'm planning on being, so I hope I have a piñata swinging in the background over here. I created this background a while ago when we were doing WW Zoom meetings before I left WW, and I never got to use it. So I'm using it right here because these questions this week come from me. So I'm going to be wherever I feel like being. And considering the nature of these questions this week, a piñata forest really fits the bill. Because I am calling this an all over the place tag, because these questions are all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason to them. They're just questions that I thought would be interesting to include in a tag or a no tag. As you know, we're no longer tagging each other. Instead, we just take turns coming up with the questions and passing them on to everyone. And all of the people who are doing this tag are in the description box down below under the name of my channel below this video. Just click show more. It'll open up the description box and you will find all the channels that are doing the tag, as well as other links that I have, like to my recipe blog, my Amazon storefront, etc.
My name is Roy. I am a home cook and amateur baker, and I am here on this channel, typically, sharing recipes that have helped me to lose over 125 pounds, whether those recipes are mine or someone else's.
So let's just jump right in to this all over the place tag with question number 1. What's something on your bucket list? As I'm sure most of you know, a bucket list is something you want to do before you kick the bucket. And as you also know, it'll come as no surprise to you, I've always wanted to write. I have a book that has been sitting, waiting for me to get back to editing it. It's already completed. I just need to edit and revamp some things, and I have not been doing it. So my bucket list item would be to get that book edited, perhaps even sold. That'd be even better. But at least to get it edited, get it finished, that is definitely number 1 on my bucket list. So I have to get to it. Number 2, if you had your own talk show, who would your first guest be? And even though I came up with these questions, it doesn't mean that I kept thinking about them. And I did not really give this one much thought after coming up with it. Well, I guess probably I would have to say the first guest I would want to have, again, you probably already know, would be Stephen King, who has been my writing idol ever since Carrie came out, his first book. So yeah, I would have to choose Stephen King to be able to pick his brain to discuss writing and how, you know, that would be the ultimate. So my first guest would be Stephen King. Number 3, what's the best animal sound you can make? Now I came up with this one because Paul and I, and he may kill me for spilling the beans here, have this little habit of meowing at each other. When I'm calling him for dinner, I will just yell meow, and that means it's time to eat. But not just saying the word. That's not what I'm talking about here. But I still think I do a pretty good meow. And I do different versions of it. So let me see if I can get through at least one. And then if they're annoyed, I know Paul is probably cringing as I humiliate myself in this way, but I thought it was fun. Anyways, I believe that's the best animal sound I can do. Meow. Meow. I told you, these questions are all over the place. Number 4, would you rather win an Academy Award, an Olympic medal, or a Nobel Peace Prize? If you've seen any of these tags, you probably know I am not a fan of sports, so Olympic medal is automatically off the table. I'm also not into politics or all of that kind of stuff. I mean, I honestly don't know exactly what you get a Peace Prize for. I think it's doing humanitarian works and things that benefit people or benefit peace. I'm not really sure, but of the 3, I would much rather win an Academy Award. I would love to be acting. I don't think I'd be great at it. Not great enough to win an award. But this is a hypothetical. So of the 3, I would choose an Academy Award. Number 5, if you could time travel, would you go back in time to meet your ancestors or forward in time to meet your descendants? Now, I personally have no children. I've never wanted to have children, but I love my nieces and nephews and grandchildren that Paul and I have. Because Paul was married before. He does have 2 sons, just in case you're wondering how I have grandchildren. That is how, by proxy. But would I rather go back to meet my ancestors or forward? I think I'd rather go forward and meet my descendants, even though they're not my direct descendants. They'd be from my siblings or from Paul's children. Yeah, I think I'd rather go see how things work for them. I mean, the past is past. I'd like to know what is going on in the future. So I would go visit my descendants, even though they're not direct. Number 6, what's the most out of character thing you've ever done? 2 things actually come to mind. I am not the type of person who likes confrontation. My parents, when I grew up, there was a lot of fighting. My father was very abusive. So any sort of conflict just gets me to shut down. However, there was one time when I was young where my father had called. He would always call on Sunday, and I was usually the only one who would wait around for his call. And he was an alcoholic, and this day he happened to call drunk. And my mother had just returned home from having had some sort of cardiac event. It wasn't an actual heart attack, I don't believe, but it was something that she was definitely on bed rest for. So my father wanted to talk to my mother because none of the other kids were around to receive his call, and he wanted to talk to her and get it straightened out. And little pacifier that I am, I tried to give her the phone, and she said, "I'm not talking to him." And so I let him know and explained what had happened, and he made some sort of reference to my godfather being the cause of her heart attack in a delicate situation. And I just had it. And I screamed at him that if he was going to be like that, if he was going to be such a jerk, he didn't have to call back anymore, and no one would be there for his phone calls and blah, blah, blah. It was a lot more hostile than that. I'm sure a lot more expletives were used. But I hung up the phone and I was like this, because as I said, I do not like confrontation. It makes me very anxious. My mother was hysterical laughing because she had never heard me talk like that before in my life. In a related story, years later, I was hanging out with a friend of mine. We were at a straight bar. We were both gay. And, well, I still am gay. I'm assuming he's still gay. I don't know why I said we were gay. Anyway, in the town I grew up in Willimantic, Connecticut, there wasn't a lot to do, definitely no gay bars. So we went out to a straight bar. We often went out to the straight bars with our straight friends. Not a big deal. Well, these guys started harassing my friend. I don't know where it came from, but I got up and I was like in their face telling them to just mind their own business, yada, yada, yada. And again, afterwards, I was like this, but my friend was just like shocked that came to his defense, that I don't even know what came over me. I think it was maybe my history of having dealt with that kind of thing boiled over. I don't know. But those were very out of character for me, both of those instances, because as I said, conflict makes me very anxious, and it takes a lot to bring me to that point. But I did reach it, but very out of character. Number 7, would you rather spend a year living in an RV or on a sailboat? I do not like the water. I don't care for the beach. I mean, I don't mind going to the beach, but I am not going in that water. So you will never, ever find me on a sailboat, or probably any kind of boat, unless it was like a gigantic cruise ship or something that I would feel comfortable on. But spending a year on it, no, not happening. I will be living a year in an RV. I've thought about that in the past, traveling around, being able to just go where you want, and you have your hotel room right with you, basically. You don't have to get hotel rooms. So yeah, I'd be spending a year in an RV, and I think Paul would be along for the ride. I think we've both talked about doing something like that at some point. Not that we probably will, but we've talked about it. Number 8, you can have an unlimited supply of one thing for the rest of your life. What is it? Again, came up with the questions, didn't really think about them after that. So I did not give this one a lot of thought. So I'm sure I am going to be editing out a long pause here while I try to figure out what that one thing is. And I didn't give any specifics on this question as to it being a material thing. So since it's so open, I am going to say, motivation. Motivation to get my work done on my book. Motivation to push through whatever I need to push through, whether it's my weight loss journey, whether it's writing, whether it's YouTube, just having that motivation to persevere. I think that's what I would take an unlimited supply of. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. Number 9, what slang word do you wish would go out of style? There are actually 2 that I have in mind. One, we hear from our grandson, who is living with us at this time and has a room near our office, and all the time we hear, bruh, bruh. If no one ever said that again, I'd be ecstatic. But the other one that really annoys me and has annoyed me for a while, and I apologize if anyone out there uses it. I first heard it, and I don't know if she coined it, but I first heard it from Rachel Ray, where she calls a sandwich a Sammy. That just irks me to no end. I don't know why. I have no idea. I mean, maybe it's because you're not really shortening it. You're still using 2 syllables, so what is the point of... Anyways, those are the 2 words. If I had to choose one of them, I honestly don't hear Sammy as much as I hear bruh, so I'm going to go with bra. But Sammy is a really close second. Please don't use it. And number 10, if you had to swap your legs with the legs of any other animal, which animal would you choose? First of all, considering my legs with my myopathy and neuropathy issues are problematic to begin with, any legs that don't have that problem would be useful. But my first thought was a kangaroo because of hopping and they go pretty quickly. But I think I would go with a cheetah because they are the fastest animals. And to be able to move with that kind of speed would definitely be enjoyable. But as I said, being able to move freely without any issues at all, and I know, Kim, you can agree with me on this one, would be heaven. So that is my choice. I'm going to go with cheetah, but kangaroo is a close second. Okay, so that wraps up my all over the place tag for this week. I think it might be Tracy doing the questions next week from Trials of a Long-Haired Girl. I'm not positive, but I kind of like the mystery of not knowing for sure. But if you liked this tag, I hope you will give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet and you are looking for recipes that can help you on a weight loss journey. Share any of those videos that you think someone else might find helpful. And hit the notification bell for the next time I upload any sort of video. Like I just posted a video on Sunday, which is not a typical day for me, because people have been asking me questions about using the Healthy app, so I thought I would do a few little tutorials. So that went up on Sunday, and if you'd hit the notification bell, you would know that. And also comment down below your responses to some of these questions. I will put them in the description box down below, and you can answer them. If you have a channel where you are answering them, let me know so we can add you to the list. And you can get the questions ahead of time to be able to respond. Also, in the description box, you will find the links to my social media. Here is my Instagram handle. And there are 2 Facebook groups that I am part of. One is mine, Recipes with Roy, and the other one is Finding Our Way, W-E-I-G-H. And that one I co-admin with Jennifer Lynn from the Jennifer Lynn channel, as well as Bree Coleman from Balancing Life with Bree. So join us over there. Lots of great tips, tricks, support, people, what have you. So that wraps it up for this week. I think I'm going to go smash a piñata and see what I get. So until next time, bye.